Hi, I'm Nave here with Season 6.5 of the VTSDL Draft League. This is Modified Rig F, which is Rigates plus Mythicals, and every legendary and paradox that sucks. By usage, they could have called it VGCUU. That would have been a better name. But I'm going to be doing a rundown of why I drafted what I did, followed by a power ranking of every team. If you watch these videos and aren't in the Discord of this draft for some reason, I uploaded week 1 before doing this, so like both the power rankings and like maybe this are after everyone played their first week, so what could maybe be a little more informed than they would be if I did it like right after draft finished, before anyone played or even made trades. And then only one person has made trades, which is nice. But Mythicals are in this draft. I don't want to use Diancie. I love Diancie's stat spread. I love to run Trick Room. I love to run Iron Press. I have a passing interest in doubles OU exclusively because Diancie is in that tier. But because the median voter is incomprehensible, Diancie was put in A, and since I was 11th of 16th, there was no way I was going to get her. But I did still want to make a team like centered around a mythical, and since we banned Mew from New Jersey, there's really only stat sticks and flinch machines left, which are kind of lame. There's one exception, and that would be Petulant, who is also kind of a flinch machine, but not really. I love this thing. It's probably my second favorite mythical after Victini, just a stupid little spear. I like the Loyal 3, I like their gimmick, I like how tiny its move pull is. Just good enough to hook me in, but not good enough to be crazy. Bare minimum essentials. It's already really impressed me in a previous draft, where like in the first VTSDL season I played, they let Petulant in, and the guy who got Petulant like did not build around it well, I feel. And it was like very constantly and consistently stealing games, or even just getting really close to stealing games, and I think I can play to its strengths very well and make very methodical of X and Y, then Z. Plans that like can fall apart if I miss a move or get parried, which was something I could have been starting to worry about. But Petulant is kind of the opposite of that. If I play Petulant, I like how I think everyone wants, would expect to be played, where it's like a low Chen that sucks. But like, if it was just any other Pokemon, it's just a fat ass that like has a built-in chance to poison and confuse on its good move, then I'm instead just getting random RNG wins into already consistent game plans, which seems super strong and super appealing. And that's just what they did with Sneasler, but instead of being fast, Petulant is fat. So to facilitate Petulant's fatness, I have to get started on my type cores, and the best option available is Scrafty. I want to step away from this clicking finger and follow me and redirecting all the time. I've already won a draft where I didn't use redirection. I had Toad Scroll, but I never brought it. That fucking sucked. But it doesn't hurt to try and do it again, and maybe when I don't have Weezing Verdigigus in a low tier draft. But you don't need me to explain why Fake Out was Intimidate is good. Scrafty does feel like a strong on paper, weak in practice type of guy. Besides Petulant's ground weakness, everything like one of those two is weak to, the other one can resist, which is very nice. But I'm worried I'll have to play out of my mind to really get good use out of this thing. Because it's got a based on the attack stat, and that's honestly worse than its 4 times fairy resistance. Because like, I can play around that with like Sash or a Roselli Berry, but it's a lot harder to play around not being able to like punish the Terra Steels, or like even just to Oko some of the bulkier normal types. So seeing that problem, I wanted to look for something that could punish Terra Steel well, and I landed on Iron Treads. Realistically, the fastest ground type available, if we don't want to count Excadrill getting Sandrush boosted and discounting the Dugtrios as being bad. Having high horsepower does make it like realistically stronger than Garchomp as far as ground moves go, as well as being able to punish not only Terra Steel, but the Terra Poisons that could hurt Petulant. It does have a couple unfortunate flaws, like it doesn't have a good support move pool. It doesn't have Electro Web, even though it kind of looks like it would get it. It doesn't have Taunt. Its only setup is Iron Defense, and it would really love Bulk Up. And it just can't actually function that well as a defensive switch-in for like Scrafty or like Petulant, even though it has some good resistances, because like for both of those types, because it's a steel type, it's weak to ground, it's weak to fighting and stuff like that. More like Grass is weak to fighting, so switching into Friends isn't that good an idea, and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean. When you have a ground, you start to think of things that you want the Earthquake next to. So then I got Latias, the yellow one specifically. I don't want you to forget that. So originally I wanted to do Petulant, Garchomp, and Galarian Articuno, and because I make this make I always make, where I go for the esoteric piece no one wants first, like I always do, that was Petulant. I did not get Galarian Articuno, but I kind of combined both of the being a dragon job and the being off the ground job of those two into Latias, and I think I like Latias more. Latias or Latias was kind of a hard decision, because like I ran a couple offensive calcs to see where like Latias got a kill, or a 2-hit KO where Latias fell short. And there really weren't that many. And even the same went for bulk, though. So I just kind of went with the higher bulk because I thought it facilitated the patch-your-own strategy and semi-stall strategy a little bit better. Mr. Bulk can randomly bail out all three of Petruant's Crafty and Treads with a special attack drop, which I see as more valuable than a Less Brutes drop, and was maybe the big decision around picking her in the first place. I'm surprised no one picked Latios, and I didn't get sniped on Latios. I feel like they're pretty cleanly in the top 5 of S tiers here. That's our main 4, and even if I want to play without the finger, I can't live without the finger. So at first I went Electivire, but that got taken, and like the Pachirisu and Electivire are like the same thing, so it's fine. They've got the speed stat, and that's the stat that matters, so Electivire has slightly more bulk. Pachirisu has like Super Fang, so it doesn't need an attack set to do damage, where Electivire would maybe want to invest a little. And it has better support moves, like Encore, Nuzzles, and well, Electivire only has Taunt and Feint. So I kind of think this will end up being the opposite of my Season 6 team, though, where like I had Fake Out in Tickaton and Follow Me in Magmar, but I really just did Follow Me all the time. I think I'll be doing, mostly Fake Out, and Pachirisu will be there. I'm kind of not happy with this slot, but I don't think there's a better one here, because what I need is something that can redirect electric moves, and the only Pokemon that can do that, like, suck. And I want to redirect electric moves for Tornadus Therian. I want to do like shitty Incineroar Amoonguss with Scrafty, and then this guy's a Regenerator, but I think it'll let me down. It's a Noivern side grade rather than upgrade. It's kind of ridiculous that Noivern's in C. As a defensive support, Tornadus Therian might even just be strictly inferior to Noivern. It's because the typing and bulk are like around the same, and the Noivern's Fire and Dragon weaknesses could be could be better than just not have. Then the 4 times weakness is bad. And Noivern having Super Fang and Frisk, where Tornadus Therian does not, could go a long way. And also, for the Regenerator job, Crafty and Tornadus don't actually cover each other's weaknesses very well, where Incineroar and Amoonguss do that very well. Tornadus Therian's good stuff is that it's better offensively, since it can run Icy Wind with like an Assault Vest set, and then have U-Turn and Regenerator around everywhere. So even though it's still not having like a Draco Meteor or an Overheat to just like click that move, then you're at -2, then you U-turn out, then you heal, and you heal and you reset your stat drops would be really good, but I can't do that, so we're just going to play like I can't. I like its setup options, and I'll run Physical Torn the second I figure out how to get Acrobatic Booster consistently in a way that isn't just not running an item. So in the first 6 picks, I've kind of gotten all of my S's and my A's, which I never do. I always wait to get them and kind of check around in the B tier. But I think it's because I've been at the top or bottom of the draft order for a really long time, so yeah. Now I have to live life as mid. But I ran into a dilemma around this time where like I found that my Iron Treads was eating too much booster energy and it wanted more items. So I had to find out a way to solve this, and I landed on getting a special defense fat ass to match my defense fat ass. This is Florges, the fat ass. Can give Treads an item, feed Treads table scraps, and it'll fill out the Steel Dragon Fairy core that, you always want to fill out your cores. I did use this in the Goldenrod Battle Nexus low tier league, and it did very well there, but I only got to bring it to like 1 game. So hopefully I get to bring it to more here, or even if I only bring it to like 2 games, then it'll even out to like an average number of brings, and I'll be satisfied. Anyway, like I said, gives Treads items, that's cute. I can maybe find another fun item trick with someone else. So, I don't know. I'm worried that not being able to hit steals will be a problem that stifles my ability to use her, because, like, Tornadus, Latias, and Petruant all struggle with that, and then adding a fairy that also can hit, steals might suck. Because, like, even those other guys have cover to hit at least neutrally, and Florges can't even manage that. But, no one really tears steals on draft, so I don't think it'll be that hard to find a use for someone with 154 base special defense that is a fairy type. But all my B tiers are done, which is surprising, even more surprising, and I'm kind of feeling this draft is much heavier than I usually like, but we're going to persevere. So then I look at all the C tiers just for like whatever chaff hasn't been upgraded to B tier, and I spot Torterra. I pick it because I like Torterra and I don't have many good Trick Room answers, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'll curse with Torterra to boost, and then I'll boost my defenses and lower my speed, and then I'll be at a good speed tier for Trick Room. I decided having 2 ground types when Treads is so fast and useful already isn't going to be good, so I drop it for Appleton. Appleton is slow enough to be consistent Trick Room answer, alongside it was voted down from B, and I asked to vote it down for B, and I don't know, I just wanted this. I just like the Appleton line. I wanted to use it I'm the most interested in Appleton's iron press abilities. I like to have an iron presser, but like leech seed stall with Petron's poison, and even doing some like apple acid combos look promising, but I don't have trick room, so might not work that well, but maybe it will. I don't know. I'll keep that in my back pocket. Then the only member of this low tier squad I didn't switch out is for Alligator. Just like how I said with Basculate F in my CPDL video, where like the effective special attack set is like really much higher than you think because of adaptability, and that's how you should think of it when like picking a Pokemon. With Sheer Force, for Alligator's base 105 attack set is like actually a base 145 attack set. It's a Bax Caliber. Now its like moves are still pretty low BP, and it's got 2 important non-Sheer Force moves and moves in Aqua Jet and Flip Turn. But like it's still a water type. Its bulk is still surprisingly good. Its speed tier is kind of good. And I don't know. Everyone who's used this reports it's not that good, so we're gonna get to see if that's true, but I think it'll be good. Then I just went to pick out bullshit that fell at my type chart and then like traded the rest of them out. I got Cryogonal for another Levitate guy, but there's no like dozos in my bracket. The only matchup that gets worse for me is against the Blood Moon team, so instead I got Munchlax. For even more low Trick Room speed action without having a Trick Room setter, alongside being about as functional as Cryogonal as a special wall. This is just my favorite Pokemon in the whole wide world. I picked this mostly for favoritism, but I also think it could be a sleeper D tier pick, if only just for 5 speed Encore in Trick Room. So then following my most favoriteest Pokemon in the whole wide world would of course be my least favoriteest Pokemon in the whole wide world, Lucario, who was a Houndoom. I got that first, kind of on a whim. It's funny, and it doesn't, but like getting the Houndoom wouldn't fit in any of my bracket. I was never going to bring it, so I just got more priority. So I think I'll be clicking Aqua Jet with Feraligatr a lot. This is just my shitty Dragonite. I can do whatever I want with because it can also be special. Bulk is terrible. That's not as big a deal when you're already a Steel type, and if you just play it like a speed that doesn't matter and just, you know, go entirely all in HP investment. So, I don't know. I'm overall pretty happy with this team. It's probably one of the more solid ones I've made, at least one of the ones where I don't feel like it sucks, and I usually make a team and then I think it sucks. So, I don't know. I'm telling myself I'm using this team as a way to challenge myself to use teams that rely more on switching to succeed as opposed to teams where I think I've been in the past where just one guy sitting there the whole time like I usually do. So we'll see if that comes true. But now, the part that I'm sure you all clicked on the video and skipped for, and hopefully I can remember to clip that in the right spot. But this is the VTSDL power rankings. I clicked the wrong button. There we go. I'm not cutting that either. You're just going to have to live with that. Alright. Actually, no. That's what I'll do. This is going to be... Everything before this is going to be those exclusive stuff. And then I'm going to start right in like a second. And then that'll be... This is Nave bloopers. This is the Nave bloopers. You get this. I'm justifying being lazy. Alright. But now we're going to start... Now... It's time for power rankings. I'm going to go over every team, ruminate on their strengths and weaknesses, and give some unsolicited advice on what you could do with your trades in the future. I'm going to group these together like roughly by tiers, which I've done when I've just made other rankings for other leagues just by text. And like I've switched everyone between their tiers a lot, so if you're, you know, if you get upset, I always hate when someone does these disclaimers because I think we're all bigger than that. But if you're upset at your specific placement over someone else, just, you know, remember the tiers are what matters. I probably put you over that guy at some point. So, because I do think there are clean separations of power within these like teams, but I also don't think any of these teams are like obviously terrible, and a lot of these lower ranked teams are still much stronger than the shitty teams I've seen in other leagues, and also a lot of these low tier teams have beaten a higher tier team already. So, and then I wanted to include the average stats here because that's a little fun joke to me. They'll be at the bottom, and you'll see. I'll just tell you what's the highest average of each stat at the end. So, and for all that, everything I said, I rank my team number 16 out of 16 in this new VTSDL power rankings, because I've told you everything I want to use all my guys for. I've told you all my tricks. I make all the videos about my tricks, and none of you have any excuses to lose to me. And then the real bottom, real number 15, is Local Shinobi, or Shinobi, I don't know. I know he's got a real name, but I don't remember it right now. From what I hear, he's a very prestigious and honored member of this VTSDL society as an old guard winner type guy, but I'm not quite sure what he's cooking here. Blunman and Alecki are like really, really good, And like I think they're also contenders for the best S tier, like Latios and Latios are, and they even kind of fit together. Like neither of them can hit grass, but you'll live. But I think what the problem is with the rest of the team and how like they kind of feel odd. These two S tiers feel at odds with the rest of it. The biggest thing of note is that Alecki and Volbeat kind of compete in the same role. Where like Alecki's deal is that it can shoot stuff, it can hit stuff. But it's also so fast that it might as well be prankster, screen, speed control type guy. But Volbeat is actually just a prankster, screen, speed control type guy. And the issue I see, and maybe why he picked both Regieleki and Volbeat, is that this team wants to lean Sun. He's got Typhlosion and Brute Bonnet and Dugong. But Alecki can only get Rain Dance. Alecki cannot set Sun. So I think it needs to offload that manual Sun job to Volbeat, and maybe a world where Alecki got Sun, Volbeat wouldn't be here. But I don't know. I don't know what's inside his mind. And then, like, for a Blood Moon team, while Blood Moon works very well with Inside Trick Room, we know that. It does have some really crummy Trick Room setters, and, like, Gothorita's not that good, Medicham's even worse. And, like, swapping out a B tier for a Slowbro, or even switching out like Overquill for a Stony J to pump up both Alecki and Blood Moon's modifiers so they can be stronger. Could be better, could even be more fun, but to me this reads like a good vibes team. Like it's got both the bears, it's got Ursaluna here, Blood Moon here, and Ursaring here, it's little bro. It's got Brute Bonnet's a fun guy, Typhlosion's a fun guy, this random Rain Overquill here. You got Centric when you got redirections. I don't know. This looks like a fun team. It's here to have fun, and I think it will probably have fun. But now it's number 14, who is Jake. So I finished my power rankings. I was about to click record, and then Jake trades all of his high tiers away, and I have to rearrange everything. Rillaboom, Rotom, Palafin, Goban, and even Morgrem are like a really cool pivot core, especially when like that could be combined with Intimidate from Crocodile, Intimidate from Gramble to put those in the mix. Tons of really high damage options. Palafin base 160, Rillaboom is like life orb all the time. And then Rotom's got an overheat, Crocodile's got a foot, and Cleaver has a sharpness, and those are all really, really good. Those will really demand your respect. However, I think his trades just made the team worse. He had Frigiraf over Palafin, he had Palafin over Bronzong, he had Rotom Wash over Rotom Heat. And, I don't know what that did for him, but, kill his speed control and his versatility. His fastest guy is now Cobalion at 108 speed, and, that's not a speed control guy. That's a guy you want to, invest bulk into and be a bulky setup. And then, then you get down to, the acceptable, but still not that good Palafin at base 100, which is fine. He's got Jet Punch, he'll live. And then the base 92 speed Crocodile, who loves Scarf, but isn't too hard to beat with your own Scarf. And now maybe, because it seems average speed is so low, you don't think to do that, but, eh. And I like Bronzong. I think Bronzong's fun. But I don't know what this team, wants to set up Trick Room for. It's kind of like a Rain Room team, because it's got Palafin and the Bronzong, which, kind of sounds like Rain Room, but there's no rain, and I don't think there's much of a room either. Because, your Trick Room sweepers are Granbull and Trapinch, and those can be kind of good, but you need to put a choice band or a life orb on them to really get the most out of them, and I don't think you can. And Bronzong can also be a Trick Room sweeper, but it's got to get Iron Defense first, and then it can't run Protect, and it probably can't run Lefties because it's doing Mental Herb or an Aqua Berry if it's Levitate. I don't fucking know. I think you replace Toxapex as a Crabominable. It just, fighting and Psychic is a much stronger, can handle a lot more inside of Trick Room. It's got Wide Guard to protect Bronzong. Terra Dragon is kind of free into this team, and it helps you against the ice, you'd hit the Dragon Tooth with an ice move. And then maybe just get a Prankster Rain guy, like a Shroodle or some shit. And maybe it'll work out. I think this team can still do fine. I think Palafin can just Jet Punch a bunch of times, but I think this is in the category of teams that would work better in the real game. I think if you brought the top 6 to Reg H, it might be work out better than Draft even. Partially because Cobalion is not allowed in Reg H, so no one would know what you were doing. They would think you hacked the servers. And then number 13 is Omega, who is running Manaphy Sun. Now, I think you see Manaphy Sun, you go, oh, that sucks. And I don't think it's as bad as it sounds, because you're in control of the mons you bring. You can just not bring Manaphy and Torkoal together. It's of course still bad that your two S tiers are actively detrimental to each other, especially when it's kind of preventing a Fire Water Grass core with like Manaphy, Torkoal, and Trevenant. But your real S tiers are Weezing and Gigas, so these two can afford to have some situational usage, and trying to treat them like your A tiers, so I don't have too much umbrage with that. I've won a league with Weezing and Gigas before. It's more than good enough to stomp as long as you get some tough leads the other guy has to work through as well. I'm just not sure this team has any of those. No redirect for Manaphy setup. Scraggy's just fine. Scraggy's pretty good, but it's easier to plan around Fake Out than redirection. And there's no Sunmons to pair with Torkoal, so that's not a lead. I think if it had either of those, that would just be it. If it got Electivire or something, you just do Electivire, Manaphy, shoot. If you got Jump Bluff, put them to sleep, set Tailwind, boom boom boom, it'll be fine. But that's not the version of the team that's here. I'm just not sure what the B tiers do. Braviary and Umbreon just seem like redundant versions of stuff Weezing and Gigas do. Braviary deters Intimidate, Weezing already deters Intimidate. Umbreon's a Toxic Stall type guy, Weezing's already a Toxic Stall type guy, and I guess you can use Braviary for Tailwind, but at base 80 and that bulk. And Umbreon is better at Toxic Stall than Weezing, but it also doesn't make Gigas a Pokemon. I do like the Magnezone, both for its high SPA, which I think this team needs, because Manaphy at base 100 needs setup. And it's also able to trap steals for Torkoal to overheat a Jetpack on, which I think could be a really neat tech against some teams. I could probably look at his bracket and see if he'd ever get to do that, but I don't feel like it right now. But my problem with Magnezone is it looks a little too slow and a little too electric type, because you want to pair a Pokemon Magnezone that's so slow with something that can do speed control for it, and the only thing that's there is a Jolteon. Jolteon can't do Tailwind, it can only make one guy slower at a time. And okay, Magnezone can discharge next to the Jolteon, but I don't think it's too hard to deal with two electric types in front of you, But Jolteon's still good. I just don't think it has much to be a Jolteon for. If the top four and then Trevenant and Scraggy came every week, I don't think I'd be surprised. It just seems so strong at the expense of the other stuff, because you're making your team, you go Weezing Gigas, done. Manaphy's good, I want Manaphy, and then you go, okay, wait, I kind of want to set up the Manaphy, I kind of want to fake up for the Weezing, let's get the Scraggy. And you go, well, Scraggy's so slow, it's good in Trick Room, let's just get Trevenant, and while we're at it, let's just get Torkoal. And I think that's only something you could say about other people's teams. You would never, you would say, I think I brought up a team that's going to win the Sinks Moms every week. You wouldn't say that about a team you yourself made, but I don't know. I think I will be surprised by this team, I'm sure. I especially want to see I want to see the Braviary do something. That's really what's confusing to me. But definitely could get so much better with trades. I was going to say you should switch Manaphy out for Palafin, but someone already got Palafin. But I think switching Torkoal out for Glass Trier, or even Incineroar, if you find something you want instead of Scraggy, it could be really good. If there's any draft team that could fit Incineroar, it would be this one. But I don't know, better B tiers like in Rock Dusk, or a Cinderace, or something with Tailwind that I'm not remembering, would make this team a lot better, and it definitely has the potential to go far with a few trades. And then we have Sempra at number 12, who is by far the most accomplished player in this draft, in the real game. But he's also got 4 Eviolite guys. Not much accounting for that mistake. Sash Electabuzz isn't that bad. I don't think it's too, I don't think the Eviolite conundrum affects that bit too much. Because, 95 SPAD and 105 speed is still respectable. But you'd rather have the option of Eviolite. So, yeah. What I like about this team is that it forces the other guy to use a bunch of their item slots up on useless crud. 2 Intimidates means you want Clear Amulet somewhere. Toadscruel puts Goggles somewhere, especially on setup or redirection. Electabuzz Fast Taunt might put a Mental Herb somewhere, and having to account for Trick Room with Porygon 2 forces a lot, forces Trick Room counterplay, and because this team is kind of sort of balanced, it doesn't have to lead Porygon 2. If you lead anti-Trick Room into Porygon 2, it better be good into everything else. It better be good into all these fighting types and stuff. And like, I think even with 5 Eviolites, you can still bring Porygon 2, Kingambit, and Tauros to every game, and that's like 3/4 of a Reg H team. And like, even ignoring the tiny Eviolite elephant in the room, the best special, I'm more worried about the best special attacker being Blaziken than anything else. Like, that seems kind of rough, and like, especially when you're stacking a lot of types, like you have a lot of fightings, you have a lot of flyings, you have 2 grasses. And like, of course, Porygon 2 can be a special attacker, but like, if your opponent's really sweaty, they can Eevee their leads out of giving that to Porygon 2, or like, I don't know, so maybe it just won't, maybe it's just not possible, and that sucks, so, and then you know, Porygon 2's got base 95 spat, that's not good. So, yeah, I think some ideal trades for this could be, you know, just ditch the redirection, go all in on like Fake Out, or just use Toadswolf redirection and then get a Raikou, both for a better special attacker, both for a little bit more speed, that isn't like waiting around for Blaziken to do something, or like trade maybe Porygon 2 out for Deoxys defense. Maybe not really because it's good so much as I want someone to have Deoxys defense. You know, like, you know, it can set Trick Room, but it's base 90 speed, and then like turn one of the Fake Out guys into an Ambipom, even though you already have a normal type, and like, they'll be fine. So I'm sure this team, out of all the teams that are looking poorly, will go the furthest because it's Emperor with Gambit. But now we have to have the team that I think was the hardest for me to rank, because I feel like I put it too low, but I don't know how I can justify it any higher, which is Cataclysmic's team at number 11. The top 4 all feel like bouncy, gluey stuff, but they're not holding anything together. I feel like it needs something to orbit around, and I think that's trying to be Hisuian Arcanine. I think they're going like, okay, this is, you know, this shoots all the water types and ground types that bother Hark, this fakes out for Hark, this is a Sylveon. But I just don't think, even with Rockhead, I don't know if Hisuian Arcanine is really strong enough to make that work. I think it kind of did in Season 6 last season, but I'm not confident in it, especially when it's such a Terra Hog. I don't know. It just, like, because Sneasler and Meowscarada both want a Sash, and that really sucks. You don't have terrain to, like, even pretend like Sneasler doesn't need a Sash, and, like, I don't know, defense here is really lacking, and like, Sylveon is incredible, but it would really like a stronger Trick Room setter than Baynet. Fungus, Swampert, and Goodra are all very potent B tiers. They'll definitely do well. It's just, you can't make a team out of B tiers. And the C tiers seem pretty strong besides Dunsparce. I especially think Rotom Fan is underrated. Like, I think all the Rotoms are about as good as each other. It just matters on if you already have a water type or not. I don't know. I think there's just like one swap away from shooting up 6 ranks. Maybe Indeedee Male over Hisuian Arcanine, or something over Sneasler, or like even like, I don't know, Serena over Meowscarada. But like, I feel like with one swap, maybe one swap that like, maybe one Trick Room setter that can kill stuff outside of Trick Room, like even maybe Reuniclus or something, would just make this team succeed a lot more. I guess my issue is that, like, I don't know what this team wants to do but go blow for blow, and I feel like it's always going to lose that blow for blow, and because it's so frail. But I don't know. So that concludes all the D tier teams. Those are all the teams I think have some like super obvious problems, and if they want to make it all the way, if they want to win the strongest draft in the world challenge, contest, you know the reference, they should make some trades. And now we have to adventure off into the C tier, which are all of the teams I think are mostly like skill def. I think they don't really have to make trades. They would be better if they made them, but they can make that the playoffs and beyond if they put their hearts into it, if they try their best. And then C tier is, you know, Mario. I don't know if I said that or not. It's Mario from the Mario series of games. He runs all the rain teams all the time, but now he's moved on to Sun. And Sun is busted in draft. I hate that. I don't need to explain its strengths. You see the Jump Pluff here, you see the Charizard here, you see the 2 Photosynthesis guys, and you go, oh, it's Sun. There's just, I don't know. I don't have much good to say about this team, because there's just not much you can say about Soy Specs, Booster Specs, you know, Hydro Steam and Sun. You know, it kills you. Jirachi on Sun does look kind of weird, but I think it only does because the team also has Jump Pluff and Slitherwing, because like, if the Sun Sweepers were just Charizard and Walking Wake, you'd go, you're really going to bring a Fire type just for the Jirachi when those 2 guys both resist Sun? And you're like, yeah, I won't do that. But since Jumpluff and Slitherwing there, you go, wow, I can kill Jumpluff, Slitherwing, and Jirachi. Let's go Fire move. And I think that could be a pretty big problem. I do like that this team isn't particularly weak to rain. Not many Pokemon get manual snow or sand, so when they want to like counter rain with their own rain, they kind of, that's all they got. That's the only move they learn. But the only guys here on this team that really hate rain is like Charizard, who at least get to click Hurricane if you're expecting it. So, which is nice. But this is a frail offensive team, and as a frail offensive team, it seems hardwired to set up Sun. It doesn't really have the bulk to balance out it, and the base stats aren't high enough to go without Sun. And that's fine. I just don't think it works when you're relying on a Sableye to set the weather. And the first set Mario played, I think I could kind of see some of those weaknesses where, like, he did win, to be clear, but like when he went only Walking Wake and the really, really passive Jumpluff actually get a speed boost from Sun. So he had to spend like a bunch of turns like protecting and doing nothing so his Wake wouldn't die while he was setting up Sun. And then something kind of a sitting duck, and that's still like okay for Sableye. Like, say if that happens and Sableye dies, or you set up Sun, you get a free switch. If they go into Walking Wake, you get Sun up for free and then can spread status. But I don't know. I think that could be exploitable depending on like resistances, if they like Terra Water or have good water types and stuff like that. So, because you need to get this team online fast, and I think Sableye might be just a little bit too slow, if only because it doesn't get Tailwind, which, would give you the versatility that a Bug would. I think maybe to address this, you would want to pull the trigger on like Ninetales over Sableye, and that could be best because like while you would lose the ability to have a rain mode of your own and the ability to spread Thunder Wave for Jirachi to get Iron Fed Flinch's Iron, that would both suck. I think that would more than make up for it with the ability to lead Ninetales Jumpluff, Ninetales Charizard, Ninetales Slitherwing, Ninetales Wake, which all seem very strong leads, honestly, and I think Ninetales is underrated just as an attacker too. Like 81 special attack plus a free specs boost is stronger than you think. Yeah, even if you're comparing it to Charizard, it's still pretty good. But then you lose Rain, Spread Thunder Wave Sunset. I already started to say this before I forgot. But just pick up an Electro to do both of those things and do Fun Metal Sound bullshit. You'll be fine. You can run Jirachi without really having to sacrifice speed, and like if Electro dies, it's not like your Sableye died and then now you can't do any Sun or something. So, because then like Electro dies, you don't have the Ninetales, you did this Fire move, whatever. It still drafts Sun, it'll do well no matter what I nitpick. It's still got the Fire move, it's still got Overheat, it's still got Heat Wave, so whatever. So now we're going to get into the single digits. Number 9, Mike Titan. This team's also hard to rank, much like Cataclysmics was, where like I feel like I put it too low, but I have a hard time justifying it higher. Because what I see is a slow-paced, bulky team that wants to do setup with Corviknight or Mudsdale or like Cyclizar, maybe Hydreigon, that like also that can do like Toxic Stall. Like, okay, we'll do Fezandipity, Toxic Stall. That's it, that's only Fezandipity. You just got lucky. And so then I see all that and I go, okay, that makes sense. And then I see Whimsicott. I don't know if I said that, but this bulky setup is glued together by fat-ass Volcanions, high base power Streamer option, and not that fat-ass, but still pretty good Hydreigons, Draco Meteors, and I think then, okay, this all makes sense. This all makes sense to me. And then I get to the Whimsicott, and I think, oh, what are you doing here? I feel like she's kind of letting this team down by like only having one screen. I think this team would like both screens, and it's got pretty poor bulk and pretty poor typing. And look, I get it. When you look at these 4 Grass Fairy glues, this Type-Rook grid together like crazy. But I'm just not sure this team gets the most out of her when all of Hydreigon, Corviknight, and Raichu, and even Fezandipity, all function as really solid speed control. And I think maybe this team wants her more for the Trick Room or the Encore than just the Tailwind, and I do think that's a little obvious, but there are stronger options available that do kind of the same thing, and namely Grimmsnarl, because Grimmsnarl has hard bulk, it has Fake Out, you can do like Parting Shot and then go into Raichu, and then Volt Switch is Raichu, go back to Grimmsnarl, you can do that. That could be pretty good. Grimstarl has both screens. Grimstarl may not have Encore, but it still has Taunt and Fake Tears, stuff like that. I just think it might be able to serve this team better, provided it also gets something from the Slowpoke genre of Pokemon. All the Slowpokes are undrafted, or even like Mesprit. Also, you can Grimmsnarl can Swagger, Own Tempo, Mudsdale to make it really strong. Isn't that funny? Of any team in this whole draft, it seems like it's the most skill diff. Like, this is the one where how well you play the team is what makes or breaks it more than anything else. And I do have high hopes for this team. I think it will be able to make that work. And I just want to see Volcanion pop off. So that's my closing notes. And then my friend from Blizzard from Discord. I know her secrets, I know her games. I will not be releasing them at this time. But for why it's here, this is like a balanced team that I think actually achieves a balance between offense and defense, where I feel some other teams I would call balanced lean too far in one direction. Most everything is strong and fat. Primarina, Bisharp, Iron Thorns, kind of Gliscor, kind of Sinistcha. And with pretty decent speed control, Electrode is good speed control, Sinistcha and Glecky and Gothitelle also have Trick Room. It's a little worrying this is a team with 3 Trick Room setters and no Pokemon below base 60, but I think if you use Trick Room mostly to beat faster paced teams, that won't be an issue for you, and you can kind of manage your way around actual Trick Room teams pretty easily. So the reason why this team's not higher is I will never bet on Gothitelle or Sinistcha. I think they are frauds in the real game and even worse in draft, provided Wolf isn't having Gothitelle, then she's fine. I think this is maybe the best team you can have with the 2 options of Gothitelle and Sinistcha, but when you have advance notice that both of those 2 are coming, it's not that hard to prepare for their tricks. I guess I won't say what those preparations are in case you're scared of Paris Trap and Sinistcha for some reason, but I don't know. I just don't like them. I think they're noob traps, Present Company excluded. I like Gliscor though. I think he goes crazy. I hope he goes crazy. Primarina's fun. I like fucking Glimmet. Go Glimmet. And then where I want to start off the B tier here, and I think B tier is kind of where the stat checks and the super strongest offenses and gimmicks kind of start. And just for the first one here will be the illustrious Pokemon and Beer, B for beer, and another B word. This tier has the best B tiers in the league, and to me that's the most valuable tier to have them in. It's like, especially because this team already has its speed situation sorted out with the bug, with Illumise. I like that it's a kind of a weather team that doesn't actually rely on weather too much, with, it's got Sun for Typhlosion and Sandy Shocks. And but I do think there's a little bit of contrast between this kind of gimmicky Sun self-target hyper offense mode, like Illumise Encores or fake Charms or fake Tears, the Enamorous, Sandy Shocks can Area Impulse it, and something like that. And how everything else is so kind of bulky and utility-like, but I think those tools can mix together very well. Tailwind Spore is obvious. I think Bruxish is, I just love Bruxish. Put Bruxish into Zoo and Typhlosion, hit Icy Wind, hit Eruption, put Bruxish into Illumise, click Rain Dance, click Wave Crash, you can do stuff like that. Tankaton is just Tankaton, it's just a Fairy Steel with Fake Out, it's the best Fake Out we have. But it can Baby Doll Eyes and Amorous, and it can faint, it can do whatever. The C tiers do look a little out of place. I think they overlap on some types of jobs. It seems like everything above I can cover, Orthworm being a Steel, Clodsire, I don't want to say Clodsire being a ground, I think Clodsire is a weak ground. I do think having a physical ground that's stronger than Clodsire would be really good here, because Sandy Shocks can't Earthquake next to an Amorous because it's not good enough for it, and Clodsire can't because it's kind of too weak, and I think something like a Flygon, which would both be a dragon and about strong enough, could serve you better here, because I think Sandy Shocks and Amorous, while they're Fairy Ground, can't really Fairy Ground that well, because these two both hit specially, and even Physical and Amorous, which is kind of better on this team than Sissel and Amorous, I feel, is inaccurate and play rough. So so I think I don't know, get a Flygon over this. I think Orthworm doesn't have much to set up on for, and Amorous has tons of setup. Opportune, like, has tons of setup moves if it even wants to use them, but the rest of them don't. But it's still, like, it's still got Iron Press, it's still a good Trick Room answer, even if its speed is a little high. So I'm not too critical of that. Lycan Rock Midnight doesn't make sense to me when you already have Gravity. You can get a stronger Rock type or something like that. I don't know. Blizzard made Lycan Rock Midnight look good in Season 6, so it's not that bad. But yeah, I guess I really just think you need a Flygon or a better ground type, physical ground type. And then what was it? The other problem, I think it's a little slow. Like, it's not that bad because you've got Booster Speed Shocks and Illumise, so like I guess a team that doesn't have Prankster Tailwind won't be that bad, but I think Shocks might be forced to run Booster Speed more than you want, and there are some leads where like maybe like a Booster Special Attack Shocks gives them more information than you'd like, or running Booster Special Attack Shocks makes you too slow. I don't know. I don't think it'll be that big a deal if you've got Tailwind, but it could be a problem. And then, like the Mike team, it does kind of read like a skill diff team to me, which could be a problem, but there's just so many little modes the other guy has to cover for, that covering from all of them will be very hard if you're a very specialized offense type of team, which is great. I have high hopes for Physical Enamorous and Broxius. Then Beers Felonbon Nikki. I thought this was maybe the best team in the league, like right after the draft concluded, and I cooled off on it a little, but it's still super good. Like Shinobi, this is a good vibes team, I feel, but the vibes just happen to be Steel Dragon Fairy and 2 Mons. Why did you guys vote for Arcaludon? Boulder and Mamoswine are Edgequake. Mamoswine Kilowattroo is Bolt Beam, that also is a bird that Mamo can Earthquake next to. Mamo and Clef are like Fairy Ground if you ever wanted to run Magic Guard, Life Orb, Clefable. But this is a super duper click buttons team. Put Clefable next to Iron Boulder, click Swords Dance. Clefable next to Arcaludon, click Electro Shot, Power Herb. Put Clefable next to Mamoswine, Terra, Flying, Clefable, and click Choice Band Earthquake. Shit like that. And then you got 3 of the best birds in the game. So you kind of hoarded all of the birds, which is nice because all the birds do like are the 3 types of Tailwind you want: Priority Tailwind, Bulky Tailwind, Fast Tailwind, which makes it really hard to prevent Tailwind from going up, in the builder. And while she's fucking completely destroyed by Trick Room, at least I think the top 4 are maybe strong enough to be able to push you anyway. The defensives are kind of tissue paper once Clefable dies, but I think the raw typings are maybe good enough to make that work. Passimian's a fun C tier. I don't believe Empoleon's also a Pokemon I never believe in, but maybe if you had a Stantler to do Skill Swap Intimidate onto, then it would work. They have a competitive boost. I'm gonna remember that. But the only real suggestion I have is to get rid of Sawsbuck for like a Strudel, for like a Prankster Weather Setter. Because I think all these birds, the Empoleon and Arcaludon, would appreciate Prankster Rain, and this team is very well suited for having a shitty Prankster guy like Strudel who would click the Rain button, die, and then let someone else in. So this team's great. I like Iron Boulder, I like Boulder Shoulders. And then we have the most normal team in the whole draft, Mikey.Simp. There isn't much to say here. No Frill Sand team. It looks like it just went through a list of everything a team would want and picked everything up. It got every good sand Pokemon. It got plenty of things to Earthquake next to. It got both Sand Rush guys. It got Yanmega. It got Sneasel. And every piece has pretty high versatility. It's pretty good. It's a little sad that Magmar and Tauros are both fire types, but that's not too hard to manage. And then there's other problems are like running Imprisoned Trick Room Gardevoir to beat Trick Room kind of sucks. Luminion might be letting it down as a water type, but like that's not anything you can't manage. The real problem is just that sand teams are honest when they don't come with like a dose oversized spam. It's not that hard to plan around Sand's unique advantages, like chip damage not too hard to deal with, boosting the special defenses, specifically rock type not too bad because rock sucks so bad. And like sand teams usually have a lot of exploitable defensive weaknesses to common important types like ground, ice, and water. This team is no exception. And well, I guess it's just ground and water, and then there's a Salamence, so it's also ice. But even that said, a team with all of these resources and a team that's so intuitive to play could still earn itself a pretty free ticket to playoffs, especially if Rockslide decides to flinch every time. Then our final members of the B tiers will be Quirt, Versatility, and Damage City. Everything is multiple jobs, with multiple consistent paths to set up or to overwhelm the other guy with spread damage. I wanted to call it Tail Room Team, you can see I did here, because of Glacier and Articuno, but the only guys below base 80 are Azumarill and Colossal, who are Trick Room guys, but they're perfectly capable of functioning outside of it because of Choice Band, Terra Water, Aqua Jet, and like Steam Engine stuff if you really wanted to, so, which is good. And also kind of means it's Tail Room, but I don't know, it's not what I think it is, but maybe it is. Ugh, who cares? Garchomp covers so well for both Skildengo and Glacier and Articuno's weaknesses, and it should never ever have to run Clear Amulet because of just the fear of giving Articuno a competitive boost, which is nice. Make sure you bring Y-Guard before you get nuked by Earthquake or Discharge or Sludge Wave plus Make It Rain. There's a lot of goofy combos here, like put Ronan Frost next to Electivire, watch it Discharge, see what happens, put Salazzle next to Goldengo, see what happens. You know, the Earthquake stuff. I'm worried about all these teams. This team's like 4 times weaknesses. And while there's definitely a lot of good defensive coverage here, if you plug his team into like the prep doc, you'll see every type bar is either green or red, which is, I think it's probably better than having even any like grays, but I can never do it. I just think that without really good play, if the other guy gets like one switch read right or one protect turn right, they can snatch a pretty valuable OHKO on Garchomp, Salazzle, or Iron Leaves, or any of these frailer guys, and you got a couple Sash competitors, Lockix. I mean, you're gonna run Choice Band on it every time, but like Lockix kind of want Sash, these two might want Sash, and so on. But yeah, I think this should be very good. I think it's got a lot on. Got a lot up its sleeves. The only trait I really have to recommend is to ditch Skiploom for Jumpluff. I mean, not that. Skiploom for Tinkatuff. So like you can pretend to have a Berserker, like you help Millbreaker, Helping Hand the Goldengo, and then you can fake it if you want. And like I don't know, maybe it's better than fucking Skiploom. I have very high expectations for this team. Go Glacier and Articuno. I want to see that do well the most out of every Pokemon here. I think it made me sad. I don't even think he brought it to the first game he played. He didn't. No, he did. I don't know. No, he didn't. Whatever. But now we're getting into the A tiers. I think all these teams should be guaranteed playoffs if their heart's in it, if they try a little. And then number 3 is Yoshi. Woo, yeah, indeedy, let's go. This is a team I have the least to say on. It's just like, you know, it's the iconic Saispam Yuri duo that also managed to get Khalid in the cuck chair, Heem Dane out. It's got a pretty fun supporting cast. The B and C tiers do largely look pretty weak, but you want to bring 3 Pokemon. You want to bring these 3 and then maybe Skeledirge, and then all these guys just have to be good in one matchup each. I think Regice has already proved itself to be very good. Pterodite, you're fine. I think Lurantis is only good on Oranguru, but could still surprise me. It's still, you know, it's still fighting. You're just like it's fighting dark. And like, I do think you should make some trades, but they're definitely not necessary. Where like, I think getting a Delphox to have a fast mode, or at least just scare a fast mode, is good. Having a Cinccino to after you on Indeedee or Gallade or whatever to get Trick Room up. Like, cause yeah, the block and prison Trick Room. I think that could be pretty good depending on the type of teams you face, but like, you don't even really need that. Like, it's hard Trick Room size spam. It's in draft. It's gonna do great. It's like Dozo, but I like it more. And then our silver medal is a team that I was kind of hating on for a while, but like I think it's great actually. It is Downfall's team. You lead Mousehold and Volcarona, and then like the other guy doesn't know which guy's gonna be the redirector and which one's gonna be the herder guy. That rules. I'm on top of superb roll completion, even if it's like, I think it's kind of hard to use. Because whenever I see someone use it, I think it kind of dies too fast, or like it clicks, they get a wide guard turn wrong and die, or something, but it's still intimidate and fake out, and wide guard, and that can also be offensive, more than Scrafty can at least, because of, well, kind of, at only base 95, but no. Espathra is fucking crazy. Lumina Crash, all of its, and it doesn't have gravity, but it's got a lot of fun bullshit. It's got Frisk, super versatile, super strong. Honestly, the biggest critique I have for this team is that Hitmontop and Espathra have really esoteric, like, anti-synergy, where Clear Amulet or like Intimidate forces Clear Amulet on some physical attackers. Lumina Crash can force Clear Amulet on something that doesn't get its special defense drop by 2, or like the opposite happened, like something that is blocked by Intimidate conveniently does not, get hit by Lumina Crash, and the same goes for blocking Hitmontop's Fake Out and Covert Cloak from Espathra. But like that's a pretty deep cut analysis, and that's the worst thing I have to say. C tiers are good. Like Galvantula is only the 4th best electric type speed control in C tier, but it's still really good. Spiritom's a great Trick Room setter. Go looks pretty strong. I'm a little worried that this team has too many Trick Room guys like Snorlax, Dragalge, and Golurk is 1 or 2 too many, and I think I've learned that from the 2 times from when I ran Side Spam and from when I ran Trick Room last season. But I think all of these guys are probably on the end of like being able to function outside of Trick Room more so than like, I don't know, Barantis, or more so than like Ursaluna, the normal one, not Lagoon. And so it shouldn't be that big a deal. I didn't mention Hisuian Samurott, but that covers both of the offensive flaws of both Mousehold and Volcarona really well. It's the draft all-star, it's the best Pokemon in B tier that should still be in B tier. And then the gold medal goes to the Amlo team. You knew this. He got Diancie, it's the best S tier and it's an A. Badmore is the best A tier and it's in B. And like, it just looks like he nabbed everything that should be a tier higher. Like, I don't even know, like, I know he thinks Recall should be better, I know he thinks Wyvern should be better and stuff like that. Like, his health's really crazy, there's so many guys for him to Earthquake next to. 3 even, Wyvern is stupid busted. Berserker doesn't really work on this team, but I'd rather he have it than Quirt or Mario. Healer's fucking busted, Haunter's really good. I don't know if Zorude's good, but I like Zorude. I think Jungle Healing will work out well. I don't believe in Milotic, but like, I don't even fucking know, dude. Like, look at it. It's going to be the best team. And this team can just stat check everything. It doesn't matter. So, that's everyone. If I rank you low, you can fight for my approval in the coming weeks, and if you ranked high, you are obligated to prove me right by winning every game, unless it's against me. In both cases, then you can lose. And then for the average base stat total showcase, HP 88 Cataclysmic, Attack 98 Mikey, Defense 96 92, Defense 96 Omega, Special Attack 92 Amlo, Special Defense 97 Yoshi, Speed 89 is a tie between Mikey and Nikki, and then the base stat total 532 is Amlo, which statistically proves him as the best team. And that's it. Good night, everyone. I spent too much time on this. Sorry I had to record it because I was too fucking quiet. If I'm too fucking quiet this time, then I'm shipping it. I think on the first recording I like pointed out a lot of the. We can do a skim of the individual mons that I want to talk about. I think I left out on. The Overquill is funny. Markram kind of sucks. Talks about his cooldown. Oh, okay, no, I didn't bring any of this. Let's see. I don't know why I'm keeping this in. I don't know why you're still watching, if you're still watching. Crawdon's chill. That's also why this can have a rain move, because I was a Crawdon. Raichu is good. Cyclizar, I already said Cyclizar. Yeah, Cyclizar shed tails into the setup, guys. Hi, Blizzard. Sandy Shocks says, that's my friend Cherry, like Sandy Shocks. Nikki got all the best birds in B. I know I forgot to say that. She just kind of hoarded all of the fucking birds and took all the Mammo counters away. Even though Mammo is a nice type. I like that. Oh wait, I think this one I actually should have kept in. I think Mikey is a little weak to Imprison Trick Room, where I think, like, because he has to use Imprison Trick Room Grotto to beat it, or he has to use, like, a Tyranitar to beat it, and that kind of sucks, but you can still flinch the Trick Room setters. Nothing to say about, I like Iron Leaves. Iron Leaves is cool. Arbok fucking sucks. Sudowoodo is like my favorite guy from Johto. Fuck you. Vakavolt, I hate you. Oh fucking no, dude. Good night. I spent too much time on this. I hope it was fucking loud enough.